trying to get kind of an urban feel to match, you know, the film, which is shot in Chicago. Going for the parking garage, which has horrible sound, unfortunately. But, you know, I was trying to get a little bit of busyness. But, you know, everything's kind of leading up to the courtroom scene to get Donald Lang a court date, because basically, you know, the court and the DA and so forth have decided that he's incapable of mounting a defense, and therefore he's kind of left in limbo in jail, which I should say the jail scenes are up there with, you know, with any jail scenes. I mean, you know, the gold standard here, you know, first off, there's never been a great film about doing time, other than if you want to go talk about, you know, what is it, Sardinia, you know, Jagadia with a prophet. That's a jail film. You know, staying in character the whole time with the voice, you know, is absolutely critical to the film. You know, it's like doing an accent, you know, it's like doing dialect, you know, and he never misses a beat. And of course, because of his singing background and so forth, you would imagine that would, you know, benefit him in something like this. But there are also things, there are so many things in the performance that are so powerful. Starting with movement. I went into detail about what made that performance as Paul Vario so powerful. It's the economy of motion, doing very little. He's an attorney here. He's an attorney mounting a defense case, right? So he has to be able to communicate to the jury. First of all, just getting the case, the trial, is a Sisyphean task, takes most of the film. And he's at a certain point where he may lose his ability to speak properly, as he says, right? And there are just so many powerful things in the film. When you do get to that trial scene, he has to, within it, he can be very big with the motions. It's very important, you know, it's economy of motion for an actor. You have to be small, right? It's legendary.
An old movie with Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin could make an audience cry and laugh and communicate very complicated situations and conflicting emotions without using a single word. Or put yourself, say, in a foreign country, in Russia, in a city in Russia, where you could not understand anything that people were saying. You could not read the street signs. You could not read the newspapers. Yet you would still be an intelligent person. And you probably could get along very well through gestures and pantomimes. But let's also suppose that the police suddenly put handcuffs on you and brought you to a courtroom where everyone was speaking Russian and you could not understand one word. Would you be incompetent?
It's never too big. It's just about right, you know? I mean, you just notice that right away, how he uses his body. It's very powerful. You know, Don has to do some time here, and they do not shy away from some of the stuff that happens. Again, I mean, you know, that's why I love shooting in Chicago. That's why I love using real actors. They don't tone it down, you know, like Donald's brother, you know, looks and sounds black. They don't make it more palatable for kind of a white audience.
First problem is getting him out of jail. Donnie didn't kill that woman. He never hurt anybody in his life.
Well, the police say he did.
They'd blame it on the pigeons in the park if they thought it would get rid of the case.
I know a lot of people will jump in and say, oh, this is a white savior movie. No, it is fucking not. This is not a white savior movie. Paul Sorvino and Lavar Burton, those characters, Lowell Myers and Donald Lang, they are partners. They are working together.
No, I can't hear a thing. Stone deaf. I haven't heard anything since I was 9 years old. I only wear this so that I can hear the vibrations. Vibrations. They tell me whether I'm speaking too loudly, shouting, or speaking
best that Donald Lang can, you know. He is in the entire film. This is not the white guy coming in and saving him. He is just making a case, you know, and that's, I mention it, you know, quickly, that scene when he kind of has to go into the hood and ask some questions and talks real to them, you know. They feel like this guy's genuine, you know, and because of the performance. I mean, I get that it's scripted, but that's what Sorvino brings, you know. That's just a fine example of it. Analyzing the courtroom scene, you know, you look at his motion. You know, I talk about how he doesn't do much in Goodfellas. And in here he has to do more, because not only is he the attorney pleading his case, he's also deaf. He's also a big man, you know, but he uses just the right economy of motion. He doesn't go too far or too small, not too big. Everything's just right, you know. It's very powerful. Everything's leading up to that moment. He's giving Donald his voice, you know. And it's because what unites them is, you know, being deaf, you know. And I think that they have an affinity with each other, and a warmth, you know, that you can see and feel. Donald trusts this guy, white or black, you know, and he convinces Donald's brother too. The other thing that jumps out to me, and it does call attention to itself, the edit at the end of the film. Scene. It is not the last scene, but it is such a brilliant piece of editing. It calls attention to itself. It's not invisible, but it is a perfect little montage, a series of close-ups that cuts closer and closer. It's like an optical. They're just coming in close, bringing it in closer, and it's a little bit more blown up, emphasizing how this guy's in a prison of his own. And in the last scene, he gets out, you know, spoiler, he gets out, and he goes back to you know, he's back doing his thing, and but something's different this time, you know. And I don't want to give all the details away, but basically he picks up another prostitute, and the next morning this prostitute again is found murdered, and of course he's arrested. And, you know, the voiceover of Sorvino at the end, you know, just emphasizes, you know, that this guy, and this is why it's not a white savior movie, because Sorvino can relate to this, because he's losing his ability to speak. He's going to be in his own prison, of a sense, you know. It's emphasized over and over again. The racism, they don't beat you over the head with it, you know, but many times, you know, Sorvino refers to Donald's condition as being in a prison of his own, a prison of being unable to communicate. Maybe it could be, it could even be a prison, something I can personally relate to, you know, a prison of addiction, you know. You know, maybe he does have a problem with booze. Why is he going to this bar? You know, maybe he's getting relief from drinking. Maybe it's causing him to make some bad decisions. And otherwise good guy, he has no other way to communicate, you know. And, you know, it's just compelling, man. It grabs you, and it grabs you hard, you know. It's some of Sorvino's best work. Lavar Burton, these two, you know, we just came through Oscar season, and I love Sean Baker. I've met him personally. We had a connection, several mutual connections through Fandor. I have another friend that knows him really well. I love the guy's work, but you know, fucking Honora, dude, please. There's not a professional trained actor in sight. I mean, these two guys blow the fucking doors off of anybody in Honora. As a matter of fact, almost anybody in any of the nominated films, as much as I love Conclave, which I think is an excellent film, you know, but what LeVar Burton and Paul Sorvino are doing in this film is unbelievable. I don't care if it's a TV movie, the music is a little cheesy, okay, fine. The fact of the matter is, if you put this up against any of those films, I'm telling you right now, it's a much better film. It's more memorable, it's more compelling, it's more powerful. Do yourself a favor. It's available on Amazon. You can buy the DVD from Warner's Home Video. Dummy. Paul Sorvino. This guy, he and LeVar Burton are flawless. They're fucking flawless, man. You know, I can't speak highly enough of this film, nor of Sorvino's career overall. Check out this film, please. Do yourself a favor. Kind of appropriate for my last little bit about Dummy. Please don't use that name in my presence, Paul Sorvino. What's amazing about the film is the courage that they had to make it, especially the ending, very ambiguous, right? The ending of Dummy is very, very ambiguous. You really don't know exactly what happened, you know. Circumstantial again, right? By today's standards, of course, you'd have to know he was a good guy. You'd have to know Donald Lang and LeVar Burton, he's the hero, right? And it's partially the time, you know. They're completely unafraid to leave it up to your judgment. Listen, odds are he probably did it. Maybe he didn't do the first one, probably did do the second one, just like Brian Dennehy's character said. He learned some things in that jail, and not the right kind of things. And to think of a film that's just so unafraid to go there, you know. I think of something like Schindler's List, and, you know, before everybody has a meltdown, you know, Thomas Keneally, he wrote the book. You know, his whole thing about the beauty of that story was that it was ambiguous. You didn't know why Schindler did it. You didn't know why. You know, but Spielberg had to bang you over the fucking head and let you know he was a good guy and all that. Again, Keneally, who wrote the book, was vehemently against that approach. And it's ironic because Scorsese was going to direct it, and his comment was, if I directed Schindler's List, it wasn't going to win any Oscars, because you know he was going to go there. I mean, you know, think of Goodfellas. If Goodfellas ended with Henry Hill going, I wish I hadn't done a life regret, you know, come on, man, it's bullshit. And of course, he gets rewarded. I'm not saying Spielberg's not a great filmmaker. He is. He's made many wonderful films, but he's not an artist the way that Scorsese and other great filmmakers are as artists. They don't give a shit about the commercial aspect. To a degree, obviously, it's an expensive medium, but I think you get my point. As it pertains to Dummy, these filmmakers were completely unafraid to go there, to go all the way, and that impresses me.